Here we are once again in the doctor's office.
Oh, nice. He's in,
Now you know it's him.
He's in a forest.
Because of your choices, people have died.
Nobody has died.
I
Well,
don't know which
Goggle
is
Boy
worse,
and Emily.
actively
Yeah.
triggering events that lead to someone's death, or passively allowing tragedy to occur. Because you couldn't lift
Yep.
a goddamn finger.
Who is he voiced by? I feel like I know. I've heard
He's been
his-
in other games before.
Has he?
Remember last year?
I don't know his name, but he's definitely been in other
How
games.
you left your poor sisters to die?
He didn't do that.
You did nothing to help.
He was drunk, passed out.
Paralyzed by your own self-centered fear.
This is true.
While a real threat was
He was
close
not.
away.
Hang on.
Now it's
Why
all
does this
about
guy
you,
have
John.
trees in his
It's
office?
always all about you.
So is it always snowy in this old cabin?
I guess so.
Oh,
Okay.
Game has gone terribly wrong.
it has.
And your friends, like your sisters, have deserted you. You're all alone.
All alone.
Can you feel how cold your loneliness has become? Huh?
No, I cannot see.
Why did you hurt them?
He didn't hurt them.
He didn't.
Oh, his friends.
Joshua, why did you hurt
He
them?
did. He hurt his friends.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They hurt me.
Yeah.
They did. That's why.
Well, they didn't hurt you, Joshua.
Oh, he's just thinking
Not
it.
intentionally. They made a stupid mistake, and a terrible tragedy befell your sisters.
Yep, that is true.
They did not intend for that to happen. It just
Whereas
did.
with this situation, he did intend for stuff.
They were sorry at least until you subjected them to your night of horrific torture.
Exactly. He's sorry.
Let's hope that it's not too late for atonement.
Well.
And that your friends, if they still are your friends, can save you from this terrible isolation.
Maybe. I hope so. And yet again, on the previously.
While Nathan is playing this segment, allow me to read you guys a story. This is the Polar Express.
He's gone. We're too late.
Minute. Written and illustrated by Chris von Allsburg.
Wait!
Fix the atmosphere.
On Christmas Eve, many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound. A sound a friend had told me I'd never hear.
Josh.
The ringing of
gotta have
Santa's
it.
sleigh.
What is all
There is no
that? It may
Santa,
have
my
taken
friend had
him down
insisted.
to the mine.
But I knew he was wrong because he was stupid. Late that night, I did hear sounds.
Did you add that in?
Though not of ringing bells, from outside came the sounds of hissing steam and squeaking metal. I looked through my window and saw a train standing perfectly still in front of my
I gotta get the
house.
key from Josh.
Page turn.
Come back here.
Page turn.
It was wrapped in an apron of steam. Oh, so you're just gonna play. I'm just gonna do this. Snowflakes fell lightly around it. The conductor stood at the open door of one of the cars. He took a large pocket watch from his
Back at the
vest,
sanatorium.
then looked up at my window. I put on my slippers and robe. I tiptoed downstairs and out the door. All aboard! The conductor cried out. I ran up to him. Well, he
allowed
said,
to read the Polar
are you
Express?
coming?
Are we allowed to do this? Am I
Where?
copyrighted?
I asked. No, it's just a voice.
Oh, well, but it's
Why,
a
to the
story.
North Pole, of course, was his answer. This
buy
is the
Audible.
Polar Express.
Never heard of
I
Audible?
took his outstretched hand and pulled me aboard.
Audible
No, this is
dot com.
way better than all Audible.
Well, oh
It's
no,
free.
no, believe me, I know.
This is
but
free.
Is that allowed? Because you have
Yeah,
to
it's
pay.
fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. The train was filled with other children, all in their pajamas and nightgowns. We sang Christmas carols and ate candies and nougat centers as white as snow.
Nougats.
We drank hot cocoa as thick and as rich as chocolate melted chocolate bars. Excuse me.
Cue that song.
Outside, the lights of towns and villages flickered in the distance as the Polar Express raced northward. This is the Polar Express. We're
This
in it
is-
right now. This is the North Pole.
Oh. This is the Polar.
Wolves. Just kidding.
Wolves. Those
Just
are
kidding.
wolves.
We'll get there.
But we're getting to the wolf. Our
Soon,
friend. He's
there
still
were
here.
no more lights to be seen.
Holy shit.
We traveled.
Like what?
We traveled through cold, dark forest, where lean wolves roamed and white-tailed rabbits hid.
Oh.
Yeah, what did happen to the wolves? Well, no, they're traveling around with the white-tailed rabbits hid from our trains as it thundered through the quiet wilderness.
Nice transition.
We climbed mountains so high it seemed as if we would scrape the moon, but the Polar Express never slowed
was this
down.
here before?
Faster and faster we ran along, rolling over peaks and through valleys like a car
Yeah,
on a roller
this was not-
coaster.
This definitely was not here
That
before.
was not there before.
Nope. We're just
Much like this story,
Much-
the mountains turned into hills and hills to snow-covered plains.
Oh my god.
We crossed a barren desert of ice, the Great Polar Ice Cap,
That is what's happening in this story.
which is where we are.
But in the Polar Express, there's
Yeah,
a happy
it's
ending.
almost like I purposely chose this story specifically
really?
for this. Crazy. They looked like the lights of a strange ocean liner sailing on a frozen sea. There, said the conductor, is the North Pole.
Is it?
Hi, Bones.
This is the North Pole.
Let's see, we're gonna keep it. This is the North Pole.
Oh. Of course. Oh, is this a gun?
I think it is. Oh no, it is a gun.
Ooh,
it's
it's
like
a little-
It's
it's a
like a
little-
sawed-off shotgun.
It's like a stubby or whatever.
The North Pole. It was a huge city standing
need a
alone at the
pitchfork
top
and
of the
a
world,
mob.
filled with
Exactly.
factories where every Christmas toy was made. I don't think it's really good economy if
What?
you just make Christmas toys in the
Oh,
city.
no, definitely not.
At first, we saw no elves.
Christmas toys are
They are gathering at the center of the city, the conductor told us.
Where's he
That is where Santa will give you your first gift
Gonna
of
put that in your
Christmas.
pocket?
Who receives the first gift? We all asked. The conductor
I
answered.
wonder.
He will choose one of you.
Will?
Look!
Just lock
Shouted one of the children. The elves!
Oh my god.
Outside
Wait, hang
we
on,
saw.
haven't found the Wendigos yet.
Sorry.
Those are the elves.
Outside, we saw 100 of elves as our train drew closer to the center of the North Pole. We slowed to a crawl. So crowded were the streets with
Where are we
Santa's
heading?
helpers. When the North Pole, of
Oh,
course.
well, no, I'm sorry. I
When the
know
Polar
that.
Express can go no farther, we stopped outside and the conductor led us outside.
Is it back here?
We pressed through the crowd to the edge of the large open circle. In front of us stood Santa's sleigh.
Really?
The reindeer were excited.
As am I.
They pranced and raced, ringing the silver sleigh bells that hung from their harnesses. It was a magical sound, like nothing I'd ever heard.
Is this still happening?
Across the circle, the elves moved
Is it
apart,
here?
and Santa
Is that
Claus appeared.
Jesus?
That's Santa.
That's it.
The elves have cheered wildly.
Do I just
He
go
marched
back?
over to us, pointing to me, and said, "Let's have this fellow here." He jumped into his
Was
sleigh.
it the main character?
The conductor handed me up. I sat on Santa's knee, and he said, "Now, what would you like for Christmas?"
Nothing.
Page turn.
I'd like to go home. I want out of
I
this.
knew that
Where
I
do
could
go?
have any gift I could imagine, but the thing I wanted most for Christmas was not inside Santa's giant bag. What I wanted more than anything was when a silver bell from Santa's sleigh.
What I wanted more than anything was in Santa's giant pants.
I mean, you could ask for like an Xbox or something, but
Oh,
I mean,
right.
no,
Yeah.
his sleigh
His
bell
bell.
is fine. When I asked, Santa smiled. Then he gave me a hug and told me an elf to cut a bell from my reindeer's harness. The elf tossed it up to Santa. He stood, holding the bell high above him, and called out, "The first gift of Christmas! Oh, oh, oh!"
Is that the Wendigo speaking?
Yes.
Is this? Am I going the right way?
I don't know.
I can't.
I'm reading
cut-
a story. I
know-
can't focus
I know,
on two
but
things at
I
once.
can't cut it because you're reading this story.
A clock
The fact that you're reading this story is giving me a reason to.
A clock struck midnight as
be
the
able to
elves
cut it.
roared their approval. Santa handed the bell to me, and I put it in my bathrobe pocket.
Is this just a throwaway?
The conductor held me down from the sleigh.
Okay,
Santa
I must
shouted
just
out
have
the
to go back
reindeers' names and cracked his whip. His team charged forward whoosh, and climbed into the air. Santa circled above us and then disappeared into the cold, dark polar sky.
That's this way.
That's true. As soon as we were back inside the Polar Express, the other children asked to see the bell. I reached into my pocket, but the only thing I felt was a hole. I had lost the silver bell from Santa's sleigh. Let's
Oh.
hurry out. Oh, sorry. Let's hurry outside and look for it, one of the children said. But the train gave a sudden lurch and started moving. We were on our way home. I like to point out that the picture is just this kid looking depressed in a seat with all the other kids like, looking around
They're
him.
like, oh dang.
One looks of Native American complexion as well. We'll just
Just like
throwing
the
that
guy.
out there.
Let me tell you a little something, Mom. I don't appreciate your input.
It broke my heart
the
to
right
lose
way?
the bell. When the train reached my house, I sadly left the other
is it my
children.
objective?
I stood at my doorway and waved goodbye. The conductor
Oh.
said something from the moving train, but I could not hear him. What? I yelled out. He cupped his hands around his mouth. Merry Christmas! He shouted. The Polar Express let out a loud blast from its whistle and sped away. And this is him just looking outside of his door with a giant train in his driveway.
Oh yeah.
On Christmas morning, my little sister Sarah and I opened our presents. When it looked as if everything had been unwrapped, Sarah found one last small box behind the tree. It had my name on it. Inside was a silver bell. There was a note. Found this on the seat of my sleigh. Fix that hole in your pocket. Signed, Mr. C.
Mr.
I shook the bell. It made the most beautiful sound my sister and I had ever heard. But my mother said, "Oh, that's too bad."
What?
Yes, said my father.
I imagine that mom to be like Kyle's mom. Yeah, Kyle's mom from South Park. What?
What? Oh, that's too bad.
Where is the way to go?
Yes, said my father. It's broken.
It's broken.
When I'd shaken the bell, my parents had not heard a sound.
It was this simple. It was just right here.
Oh, it was right there. When I'd shaken the bell, my parents had not heard a sound.
That took way
At one
too
time,
long
most of my friends could hear the bell, but as years passed, it fell silent for all of them. Even Sarah found one Christmas that she could no longer hear its sweet sound. Though I've grown old, the bell still rings for me, as it does for all who truly believe.
There's my friend!
The end. What a nice story.
Look, he remembers the wolf. What a nice... Do you even know what's been happening?
No.
All I know is that he's got like a stubby shotgun.
I was not paying attention.
Look, it's his bud.
Into you again?
We're gonna do everything in our grasp, anything we can, to keep this sweet boy alive.
Alright.
Hope you liked that story.
Here's the plan.
I happen to see
That
a
took
map
up like
of this
more than
place,
half the episode.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not flying blind.
The funny thing is,
There
the entire
should
time
be
you were
a
reading
way
that,
through the psychiatric wing
I,
that takes us right outside the mine.
okay, gotta go through the psychiatric wing. The entire time that was
Think you can handle
happening, I had literally
Couldn't say it
no
better
clue
myself.
what I was doing. I was just walking around, and I can't cut it either because that I just can't cut the story.
It's fine. It's good.
Like,
Don't worry about it.
oh yeah, I'm excited to divulge. That's the right word, right?
Yeah, probably.
Sure, we'll go with that. It's the right word.
Let's see if there's another story.
Trying to find another book.
Oh, you
There's
got it.
Snowmen at Night.
Ooh.
It's a bit up.
Let's do it.
Wait, what's here?
We're gonna do this one.
Dopey boy, calm down.
This one. A Snowman Named Just Bob. Written by Mark Kimball Moulton.
Molten.
Illustrated by Karen
Shouldn't
Hillard
look like
Crouch.
you, Wolfie.
That's an unfortunate name.
Stuck on this side.
A Snowman Named
She
Just
named the
Bob.
wolf Wolfie too.
For our treasured families and friends, the moon, the stars, tiny little snowflakes, carrots, each other, and all the innocent bystanders who get caught up in the magic, Karen and Mark. Gladly presented to blank on this day, blank from blank.
You are really reading every
See
single
that?
thing.
It was late that one Thanksgiving when Bob first came to me, a joyful day of food and fun with friends and family. We'd feasted well, as I recall, on Mother's fine cooked fare, then settled down for rest and nap without a care. No one knew it was to be, as daylight grew quite dim, that soon our lives would change so much simply because of him.
Who's him?
I don't know. The weatherman reported that no snow was due that night, but as we slept, the clouds rolled in, obscuring all the light. And though that weatherman had tried, he never could have said that what was forming in the sky directly overhead. Well, I mean, he doesn't know the weather. He just says the best guess. So, I mean, that's a little harsh, don't you think?
Dyspigmentation.
They should be dead.
Social dysfunction.
They should be dead.
Violence. Malnutrition.
The moon grew bright, then disappeared, then broke into a laugh. The stars begun to dance a jig, then the clouds split in half. In retrospect, I do believe that magic came that night. No ordinary storm, you see, could stir such a sight.
I love rhyming.
I do too. I like rhyming.
I think stuff is about to happen here.
The sky who cares?
Oh.
The sky began to...
No!
Oh,
His friend!
no.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Oh, man, that sucks. The sky began to whip around and settled on its way. The wind skipped lightly through the cheese, inviting me to play. and
Oh, he's sad. He's his friend!
Aww. And late that eve, there's the first exquisite tiny flake, followed by another, and still others in their wake. And this is when I dared to say that Bob first came, as peace fell lightly like a robe,
truly disgusting.
o'er every hill and tree. No need for these. Oh, claw marks, that
These dogs
sucks.
will go
He
like
fell upon my
tags.
windowsill, he landed in my hair, he frosted all my neighbors' homes and blew throughout the air. Just when it seemed the storm might pass, or at least be quite mild, the moon came out and gave a wink and then stood back and smiled. 'Twas like he knew the answer to a real-life mystery, a delightful understanding that would soon be clear to me.
What's that?
What?
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 Sorry?
The snow took on an eerie cast, first pink, then blue, then gold, then anxious little whirlwinds leaped round my feet, so bold. Suddenly I heard Bob whisper. His voice was soft and kind. He asked me if I'd help him, if I was so inclined.
Oh, there's a one to go. He's climbing.
To gather up those many flakes and roll them into a ball, till he could be and be with me in shape and form and all. "But Bob," I cried, "I just don't know where you are in all of this, 'cause all of you is everywhere throughout the snowiness. You're scattered over everything. How do you recommend that I gather all your goodness up and make a perfect friend?" 'Twas then Bob shared a secret, and all I knew what to do, for he whispered those few words to me that I now share with you.
What words? Tell us, please.
Friendship is a simple thing. The clue is just the start. As long as it's built on trust and love is from your heart.
Where's love from?
Your heart. I ran into my mother's house to wake those sleepy folk. I bid them come and... Oh, wait, that's in... Oh, wait, no, it's not. Okay. I bid them come help me to roll and pat and poke, and build a grand old snowman and do a right job, to bring to life my special friend, my snowman named as Bob.
Why would I do that? It's a rat. Oh, jeez!
Oh, that's
Whoa!
That's creepy.
Where did he come from?
What's that for, you fuck?
Dude, it ain't dead. That ain't it.
Wow.
Wolfie, come on!
No, Wolfie, don't do it.
Where did these guys come from? Where have they been this entire game?
I have no idea. We laughed and sang and ran about as Bob began to be. That's Bob right there, straight.
Bob is straight?
Yes, as Bob began to be, we gathered up what we need, everything to be free.
No, whoa,
some coal
Wolfie.
for eyes, a care for nose, some sticks, a scarf, a hat, a smile so wide, it warmed your heart, a coat, and that was that.
Oh, diable!
Perhaps you may think, so far the magic ruled that day, but so far will seem nothing compared to what was on its way.
I know they're
For this is when our new friend Bob decided to wake. He opened up his twinkling eyes.
His belly it did shake.
Where's my wolf friend?
Oh, this is a big page. His voice, I do remember, was
you
something
not
of a
done?
dream.
Fuck.
His countenance so pleasing, unearthly it did seem, and though you might be doubtful if a talking friend made out of snow, this is what we heard from Bob. He wanted us to know.
Where's my wolf friend?
You've given me my eyes, so I might see and blink. A mouth, a head, a carrot nose, so I might speak and think. The scarf indeed is cozy, I think it's to keep me warm. And thank you all for giving me such a shapely form. I hope it snows impotently, so I might stay and share, in all your loving friendship, your thoughtful, tender care. But when it warms you all and in spring, you'll miss me that I'm not near. Put a sign in your front yard that reads, Bob was here.
Oof. Well, that was if 'twas all Bob said, that dreamy starry night. He said his
Starry night.
piece, he closed his eyes, yet everything seemed right. We all joined in celebration, for his message was quite clear, that just like all good faithful friends, Bob is always near.
Yo, something's gonna happen.
And Bob was here. The end.
Got him! You see him just conk that. Oh, there's the wolf.
There's Wolfie. That's Bob.
You see that little grain right there? Oh, I thought that one. Are you seriously considering doing another?
We got 2 minutes.
If you can read it in 2 minutes.
I can do it in 2 minutes. Just give me a short one.
Oh, there's another one. Look.
Ooh.
Oh gosh, this is a don't move, isn't it?
Happy Birthday to You by Dr. Seuss. We're gonna read this one fast. From my good friends, the children of San Diego County. I wish we knew what we could do. I wish we could do what they knew in Cataroo. They should have happy birthday to you in Cataroo every year on the day you were born. They start their day. Okay, I can't do this.
No. Oh, don't move.
We'll do this one.
Dude, don't moves are stressful.
Bear stays up for Christmas.
This is stressful.
Bear
I
stays up
can't
for
talk
Christmas by Karma Wilson. The day before Christmas, snuggled on his floor, Bear sleeps soundly with a great big snore.
Big dear
Wolfie.
bear, get up!
Dude, the
Now
wolf,
shouts
the
in
wolf
his
gets
ear.
it.
We won't let you sleep through
What
Christmas
is this
year.
episode?
His friends are there, gathered in his lair, and the bear
again.
wakes up. He stands with a great big stretch and then a big sigh.
I hope I can make it right. I do want to try.
Don't worry.
Squeaks Mouse.
That's not... Was that Arnold?
Hare says,
Hey, it's alright.
Oh
We'll keep you busy all day.
Hey, we'll keep you busy all day and night.
He tries to lie down, but his friends all frown, so the bear stays up.
Oh no, these cages.
Oh God, there's so many.
What?
Come on, says Badger. Time to follow. In Pine Grove Glen, there's a fine Christmas tree.
There's going
So
to
they
be-
stomp through the woods and chomp down the track. They hoist up there the
something
big bears on
happening.
the back.
Oh, watch this.
Plods very,
Yep.
plods very slow as they trudge through the snow, but the bear stays up. Back at the cave, Gopher Grizzly and Tia roll popcorn to the string up on the tree.
gonna be a
Raven
thing
and
on the
Wren
left.
make a fresh fruit cake. The
Remember
bears
that
do the
one
best
thing?
to keep the bears awake. No,
Nope, there's gonna be a hand.
his shoulders. Oh yeah. His shoulders start to stoop and his eyelids droop, but the bear
Look.
stays up.
They're all of
Time,
them in here.
boys.
Ooh,
Enough of me
look.
for all of you.
They hang up their stockings by the warm fire night and hum Christmas songs like "Oh Holy Night."
Dude,
They cuddle
did
and
he-
sing as they
hang
wait
on.
for the
Goggle Boy locked.
Excuse you, I am reading a story, sir. But soon as the voices fade to just one, a bright star glows while his good friends doze, but the bear stays up. Bear giggles and grins, he works as he raps, he bustles and bakes while everyone naps. He piles up presents under the tree, but who's at the doorway Bear doesn't see. He toils all night until the sun rises, making his friends their Christmas surprises. But just before dawn, he lets out a yawn, he still stays up. When Christmas arrives, so lovely and white, Bear's friends awake to a glorious sight. Presents and goodies all piled up tall. I stayed up, said Bear. Oh, sorry,
I stayed up,
says Bear.
just to share with you all.
That's a Bear voice.
The bear voice has its deep.
As his friends shout with glee, Bear lies by a tree, but he still stays up. Ren flies to the stockings and tweets at a Chia.
Besides all the other presents, Santa was here.
When all gifts are open, there's one last surprise. Badger shows Bear a close of his size. Bear snuggles up tight and mutters,
Good night.
Then Bear falls asleep. His friends tidy up and slip from the lair. They whisper. Oh, I have to do like multiple.
Sweet dreams and Christmas, dear boy.
The end.
The end. That's the end. Okay,
Cut the
well,
episode.
cut.
We're cutting.
Cut the video.
Climax.
Uh.
Cut.